For most of us, we dream of retirement, of the endless freedom and relaxation. But what if I told you it may not all be smooth sailing? Retirement comes with four powerful emotional stages, and understanding them could be the difference between feeling lost or truly living our best lives. I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. On this channel, I talk about the real emotional journey of retirement, not just the money side, but what it actually feels like to live day to day after work and to make your retirement remarkable. Now, as of right now, speaking of remarkable, I'm in Norway, and Ken and I are just about to embark on our latest cruise. Hopefully, if the weather is good enough, we are taking off on a float plane today to see the amazing fjords of Norway. I'll let you know how it goes. Now, this is part one of a 6-part series, and in today's video, this is an overview of what each of those stages are, including an additional one that I call pre-retirement. And then for the next 5 weeks after this, I'll go into greater detail about each and every stage. So I hope you'll join me for the next 5 weeks at least. Now, for most of us, after spending upwards of 30, 35 years working, of being busy, of always being on the go, retirement can really feel like just slamming on the brakes. One day you're running at full speed ahead, and the next it's like going from 60 to a full stop. So if you're not prepared for the non-financial side of retirement, the change can be a real shock to the system. But the good news, you're not alone. Almost everyone goes through these emotional stages in some part, and knowing what they are can really help you feel less lost and more in control. In fact, retirement usually follows some predictable phases. So how long does it take to adjust? Well, that all depends. Not everyone is the same. For some, like my husband, the transition was smooth from the very day he retired. He felt good. He was made for retirement. For others, it can take a few months to feel like your new reality. And still for others, it can take years. It's not just about the money, although money helps. It's about your resources, your health, your friendships, your support system, your sense of purpose, your identity. The stronger these things are, the easier it is to build a retirement that feels good, that feels exciting, that feels sustainable. Now, researchers have found there's 3 sort of patterns before these stages. There's 3 sort of patterns people follow once they do retire. And the first one is that they emotionally, they stay the same as they were before they retired. So for some people, retirement really doesn't change a lot about their quality of living. They already had balance, friendships, hobbies, good friends before they stopped working. So their daily life simply shifts into a little bit maybe of a slower rhythm, some rhythm that they choose a little bit more. These are the folks who's always known how to enjoy life outside of work. So retirement feels like just an extension of who they really were. If you're in this group, you may feel contentment, but the key is to keep nurturing the things that keep you grounded: your health, your relationships, your sense of purpose. Now, for others, unfortunately, though, the next sort of phase or pattern, I guess, is their quality of life takes a dip. This often happens when resources, and I don't really mean money, I mean health, friendships, social connections, start to shrink or they've changed. Maybe work was your main way that you connected with people. Maybe you feel isolated. Maybe you have health challenges that pop up that limit your activities. Maybe you just feel a sense of loss. That's when retirement can go wrong and just feel lonely, frustrating, or even disappointing. But the good news is that you're recognizing that sort of pattern in the stage, and that's the first step to changing it. You can always add new resources, join groups, reconnect with old friends, or adapt to hobbies that fit your lifestyle. And then there's the people like my husband that absolutely flourish in retirement. These are the ones who use this time to grow, to learn, to say yes to things they never had time to do before. They build new friendships. They pick up new hobbies. They travel. They volunteer. They dive into passions that they've put off for decades. This group often says, I'm busier now than I ever was. How did I do anything when I worked? but in the best possible way. They prove that retirement can be a springboard into a more fulfilling chapter, and they make their retirement remarkable. But the big lesson here in this is retirement success really isn't measured in dollars alone. It's measured in meaning, in connection, in purpose. You don't have to be wealthy, excuse me, to feel rich in retirement. But you don't have to invest, but you do have to invest in relationships, in your health, and in the things that just light you up inside, that make you sing inside. Those are the resources that make the biggest difference in how smoothly you adjust to this new phase of your life. Now, before we get into the 4 stages, I want to talk about the one that I call pre-retirement. The pre-retirement phase is all about anticipation. Retirement's on the horizon, maybe 5 years out, maybe just a few weeks out, maybe it's just right around the corner, and it's starting to feel real. And this is where you catch yourself. You daydream about sleeping in, about traveling, about finally having the time to do all those things you've put off. There's a lot of excitement, but if you're honest, there's also some anxiety. And here's the catch. If you only focus on the money side of retirement, you can get stuck in this phase, even after you've stopped working. You might have a solid financial plan, but if you haven't thought about where you'll spend your days, what will give you purpose, who you'll spend your time with, what passions, what excitement do you want to have in your life, you can find yourself feeling very unprepared. This is why I always say retirement planning does not just mean financial planning. Yeah, money matters, but so do routines, hobbies, friendships, meaning. The pre-retirement phase is the perfect time to start mapping out not just how you'll afford retirement, but how you'll enjoy it. If you take the time now to explore new interests, to strengthen relationships, and think about what excites you, you'll step into retirement with more confidence and a clearer sense of direction. Think of this stage as laying the foundation for the house you're about to build. The stronger the foundation, the easier it will be to settle and thrive once the big day finally arrives. So in next week's video, I talk all about the pre-retirement stage and certain things you can do while you're in that stage and go through it. So now let's go through the 4 stages on a high level of what you might experience emotionally in your retirement. So the first stage is called the honeymoon stage, and it means freedom. No alarm clocks, no deadlines, no boss, no worries. This stage feels like one long vacation. You rest, you play, you enjoy the newness of it all. But here's the catch. It doesn't last forever. For many people, the honeymoon phase fades within a month or maybe a year. And that's when questions start creeping in. What now? What's next? Is this all there is? And that's when you know you're moving into stage 2, the disenchantment phase. And this is a tough one, I've got to tell you. You have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to fill. What do you do with yourself? And even if you are busy, maybe it just doesn't feel meaningful. Oftentimes in this stage, you feel restless, bored, even unmotivated. Oh, here we go again. You might keep yourself busy with little things, but deep down, most people, or a lot of people say, just doesn't feel satisfying. And you know, you're not alone. Studies show that 1 in 5 say retirement hasn't lived up to their expectations. This stage can really feel uncomfortable, but it's also a turning point. If you work at it, you'll begin to move into the next stage. So the next stage is called reorientation. This is a great stage. That's where the light bulb goes on. You start asking yourself questions, meaningful questions. Who am I now? Who do I want to be? What do I really want out of this life? Without a job defining you, you get the chance to reinvent yourself. You maybe dive into hobbies, you give back through volunteering, travel, or you spend more time with your family, whatever it is that you want. This stage is really about digging deep, finding your new purpose, and then creating a life that feels authentic to you. This is where the magic can happen, and you really make your retirement remarkable. And finally, it seems that then you move into the fourth stage, stability. This is where it all seems to just sort of come together nicely. You've built routines that work for you. You found joy in your days. You've made peace with your new identity. This is the stage where retirement finally feels right. Now, you might not move through all the stages in the order. Some people skip a stage, some circle back, and some experience them in different ways altogether. But knowing these stages exist helps you understand what you're feeling. And then it reminds you that you're not the only one feeling them. So, as you move through your own journey, remember retirement isn't just about stopping work. It's about creating a whole new chapter, one filled with joy, with purpose, with connection, and it's all about making your retirement remarkable. I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to share, like, subscribe, comment. It helps me to create more content. And consider joining our Facebook group. It's massive now, 35,000 members. Facebook.com/group/life starts at retirement. And remember, this is just the first video of a 6-part series. I hope I'll see you next week.